it's me. Oh, la 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 la. Hey guys, can you see me? Can you see me? Hey guys, welcome back to. I feel like the lighting's off. Is the lighting off? I'm sorry. Now I feel like y'all look close, but that's fine. Okay, so welcome back to my channel. It's me, your girl Brianka J, and you're back watching Book Talk. I want to thank you guys for being here, and I want to give a special shout out to my girl Memory, all the way in Zambia. She hit me up and asked for this particular video on chapter 7 of Ralph Ellison's Invisible Man, and I was happy to make that happen for her because we all know. let's talk about this book. This is my book, y'all. Okay, before I get started though, two things. Go over to my website, www.briankaj.com, and check out all the stuff I'm offering you guys. I have a brand new children's book out that came out in November, I believe. So check that out. Tell me what you think. Go ahead, get you a copy. Support your girls. Support a little business, a little writer on her way. While you're there, you can also check out my merch line. I do make and design all the merch on there. It's shipped by Amazon, so you don't have to worry about not getting your stuff. You're gonna get your stuff. So check that out. And also, as you're watching this video, if you enjoy all I bring to the table and you like what I be doing, and go ahead and hit subscribe, like it, and leave a comment. This really helps my channel grow. It helps people get to know me, and it allows YouTube to say that I'm bringing you valuable content that can give me a little check, a little coin, and I can have the financial freedom I've always dreamed of. One day, with people like you, I know that I can get there. Without further ado, let's talk about chapter 7 of Invisible Man. So chapter 7 starts off with that boy, I am unnamed narrator, Invisible Man, I am. He's getting on the train and he's going north. He has just got kicked out of his school. He was really sad to go, but Dr. Bledsoe has given him these letters of recommendation, and he's headed to Harlem. So he gets on the bus, and the bus is segregated, and he has to go to the back, and he can unfortunately sit by nobody other than who? The crazy ass vet from the Golden Day, who is actually the reason his ass got put out of school in the first place. So you know, Invisible Man is like, what the fuck? So two things go on in this chapter. One, we see the power of oration, and we see a foreshadowing of what blacks need to do in order to attain social equality in the country of America. And also, the vet continuously points out the lack of social equality and social progress that is gained by black people when they are living in the South and sometimes even in the North. The second thing we see here is the vast difference between living in that Jim Crow South and all the freedom that the North has to offer. Or is it symbolic freedom? Chapter 7 leaves us wondering about what will happen next. But while we're there, we get a lot of great tidbits of information. So we're in the Jim Crow South, and we have three people here: the vet, Mr. Crenshaw, and I am right now is very pissed at the vet because he blames him for his loss of a scholarship. He feels that the vet and all the crazy things he said to Mr. Norton is the very reason that he got expelled from school and is now on his way to try to make it in New York City. He's upset. He always dreamed of having an education and attaining thought, and he's been dreaming of going to the school all his life. And so all his dreams have been ruined, and he has pitted all the blame on the crazy ass vet. When he gets on the train though, the vet is happy to see him and treats him almost like a son, giving him tons of fatherly advice. And he's telling him about the dream of the free North, or at least the symbolic freedom that the free North will give. He says, like, maybe you'll get to dance. You might get to dance with a white woman. He's like, you'll be too busy trying to work. You're too busy trying to attain success that you'll never actually get to enjoy the freedoms of the North. But maybe you'll get to enjoy symbolic freedoms. This is very true to the book. It's a foreshadowing, because what we learn as the story goes on is that Ellison works to debunk the myths about the free North. What we learn throughout the work is that the North and the South both have problems with racism. They just present themselves in very different ways. However, let's get back to what's going on here. We also see the vet is being mysteriously transferred to the compound up in Washington, D.C. Now, the vet says he's been looking to transfer to this compound for a long time and kept getting denied. It wasn't until he scares Mr. Norton that he mysteriously was moving within seconds. He thinks that Dr. Bledsoe is the reason for this move. However, I.M. is still living in a place of rational blindness, where though he can see, he is the only person putting his bandana across his eyes. And so he's having a hard time looking beneath the surface, as the vet keeps telling him to do. He tells him to look beneath the surface, play the fool, but like don't be a fool. You know what I'm saying? He wants him to think critically. And so when he says it, I.M. just doesn't believe him. And you see the same kind of trickster vibes that you get from Jim Trueblood. It says that he winks and his eye twinkled. And that's similar to that trickster gimmick that we see in Mr. Trueblood. And it also shows that the South has a way of, Southern blacks have a way of maintaining social equality in different ways. Sometimes they can't be so direct, but have to use subtleties in order to get their way. So they may have to lie, trick, finagle, and use the freedom of speech in a way that allows them to attain what they're looking for. He says, you don't have to be a complete fool to succeed. So from that comment made by the vet, he's saying that, yeah, you have to play the damn fool. And I think that's very true when it came down to the South then. You didn't really get to speak up for yourself or advocate for yourself. It was considered disrespectful. You couldn't look at a white woman. You were going to get, beaten, arrested, and things of that nature. So you couldn't really act in the capacity of a full human being in that area of the U.S. You had to act inferior to your white counterparts and your white peers. And that's why he says you don't have to be a complete fool in order to succeed. Like, you have to play the fool but understand strategy in the game of life. He says play the game but don't believe it. Play it your way. So it's like playing Monopoly. Yeah, the rules are on the box. So we all gonna read the rules. But when we get home, it's house rules over here, baby. In my house are my rules, right? And so I think that's what the vet's telling him, like, make your own house rules. Find a way to win within the game to get what you gotta get, to do what you gotta do. And I think the vet had a lot to say here. And I think that the vet was really he was hitting it on the head. It was just unfortunate for I.M. He really isn't understanding. He's very naive. His mind is he's still very much in the 3D. He is in the 3D. What I see is what I get. He's not looking beneath the surface. He's not digging between the layers trying to understand life. He is fully invested in the wisdom of Dr. Bledsoe. He believes in Dr. Bledsoe. He's giving him these letters, and he wants to win back this man's trust and get on with attaining his education. Crazy ass I am. You have the vet telling him, you're hidden right out in the open. That is you would be if you only realized it. So he is referring to I.M.'s invisibility. The fact that he is educated, he is smart, but no one expects him to be smart because they have assumed they have taken care of the educated blacks already. They have already rendered them inferior and squashed their hopes for social gain through the very popular ideology of Booker T. Washington, who was telling every black man in America at that time that blacks should achieve economic success rather than agitate social equality. So because Booker T. Washington is going around the nation telling black people this and starting the school of Tuskegee, which is what I.M. is actually going to in his fictional world, they are taught to just settle for lower level jobs, not try to attain civil rights, not go for positions as doctors, politicians, or whatever. Just try to get some money and go home and let good enough be good enough. And so that's why the vet in chapter 13, chapter 3, and in chapter 7 is very dangerous to Dr. Bledsoe's plan, who is a foil character. Well, not a foil character, a fictional character of who I would say is Booker T. Washington, because the vet is pointing out and even speaking directly from the perspective of W.E.B. Du Bois, who thinks that this type of blindness is an enslavement to the philosophy it entails. We realize that as African Americans, we need to achieve social justice, social equality, and social game in order to feel like a complete human being. We should be allowed to have and act in the capacity of as a complete human being. And so W.E.B. Du Bois, as well as I am, have issue with Booker T. Washington's claims and use the book as a way to show the failings in that philosophy. So we have almost like the vet is acting the fool, Shakespearean's clown of a fool, where he's telling the truth, but no one believes him because he's thought to be crazy, similar to that of Hamlet, right? Telling the truth, but already being seen as crazy. And so you have a hard time getting people to believe in your message. He leaves him telling him, be your own father, young man. The world is possibility. And leave the Mr. Nortons of the world alone. And I think he was talking to that of those liberal whites who believe that they are helping African Americans, but only to the point of where they are comfortable and are not willing to actually agitate the social norms themselves. He's telling him, stay away from those people because they're even more dangerous than the outright racists. And, you know, hey, he ain't wrong there. And so what I enjoyed about this was that the vet uses free speech to defy the masquerade. He realizes that everything in this world is about putting on the mask and playing the role. And so by assuming the role of the fool, he's allowed to speak freely and openly about what's going on and defying the masquerade that is the world around him. He talks about the American power system, and he makes us realize that not all of our enemies are white. Dr. Bledsoe is an example of the interracial oppression that happens within African American institutions. And so you have Dr. Bledsoe telling I am that I will watch every nigga in this country hang before I lose my position. And that is very much an example of one man willing to watch the entire nation deteriorate for his own social progress, and a direct example of why it's very difficult for the community as a whole to move forward when you have puppets like Dr. Bledsoe who selfishly reinforce white supremacy in positions of power. So back to, I think I did everything. That's pretty much chapter 7 of my analysis of the work. So you have power issues, interracial, no, I'm not done. You have power issues, intraracial oppression in the work. And you also witness, this is the second part of the chapter that I didn't talk about. The second part of the chapter is where you see the very difference between the Jim Crow South and the Free North. So after Vet gets off the train, he gets up north, he gets on the subway, and he is immediately smashed on the subway up against a white person. You see how much living in the South has affected I Am's ability to navigate the world. He's pushed up against this white woman, and he is having a panic attack. He can't breathe. He can't function fully. All he can think about is, oh my God, what are people going to do to me because I'm this close to this white woman? And he says that he's never, every time he gets on the train now, he's just going to walk on with his hands here so that no one thinks that he's touching this white woman. So Jim Crow South, Free North, I Am is freaked out. When he gets off, he sees Roz the Destroyer is making, this is the first time we see him in the work, but he's making a speech out there and he's talking trash. We got to be segregated from these whites completely. And he sees no one's really batting an eye, even though he's agitating the social programming. We also see that there's a black cop and the white people are addressing and listening to his commands, and he says, wow, this is power, this is social gain, this is freedom. And he starts to get excited about what the North has to offer. He sees that Harlem is a place that is about blacks and for blacks and ran by blacks, and it starts to excite him. And he still has these documents in his hands, and he's like, oh, I'm gonna make Mr. Bledsoe proud. Unfortunately for our guy, I am. But this is his beginning of navigating the world as he knows it and re-educating himself on what it means to be free, what it means for social equality, and what it means to attain progress as a race. So this is a very big turning point in the work, and things are about to really change for I Am. And though he's still living in a place of blindness right now, he's getting closer and closer to self-realization, self-identity, and an understanding of the world around him. So it gets really exciting. That's my analysis of chapter 7. I want to thank my girl Memory out in Zambia again for requesting this video. And I want to thank you guys for watching it. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And if you have a book, a chapter, or something you want me to review, hit your girl up in the DMs. Not the DMs. Well, anywhere. So you can find me on Instagram, Twitter, my email. It's all in the description box. So if you ever need to hit me up, I'm really just a link and a click away. So talk to you soon.